disappointed in the system, that they could let somebody like this manage to what's the words, get through the system or weave their way in somehow. And how did he manage to get away with that? How did they manage to let him get away with that? How did they not see it? How can you do that? Not notice these things?
If I'm honest, I don't think any of my team should have been affected from something that Simon has done. My team works extremely hard. They followed protocol, they followed guidelines. So, the answer to your question is I don't think anyone should have lost their job based off something that he has done.
Start to see the articles emerge, the things about Simon Wetherby, and the fact that he wasn't qualified to do the job, the fact that the firm that he worked for didn't even know that he wasn't qualified for the job. I feel that there is blame to be had, and now I'm only wondering, should he have been working there at all, and what are the kinds of things that he was saying to my daughter?
He's cut short my beautiful daughter's life, in my view.
I hope that they find peace with what's happened. I know that they're blaming Simon, but really I have to ask them to really look at how ill their daughter was and to be honest with themselves, which is often very hard for us to do. Obviously, no parent wants to lose their child. It's the most horrendous thing that you could ever imagine. And I'm truly sorry for their loss. Obviously, I have compassion in my heart about that because I wouldn't like to lose either one of my children. But I don't believe that Simon is responsible for the death of their daughter Amelie. I know that they're probably very angry with Simon and they want to blame somebody and they want to blame Simon. But she was very sick before she went to see him.
Do you think your father is likely to feel any guilt for the death of Amelie Jones?
I think that's only natural for someone in his position. It happens too much.
Each year, approximately 1,700 people are killed on UK roads.
Between March 2017 and March 2018, 285 killings took place involving knives.
In 2017, the year that saw atrocities at Westminster, Manchester, London Bridge and Finsbury Park, 36 people lost their lives to terrorist attacks.
By dwarfing the death toll from these frightening causes, roughly 6,000 people take their own lives every year in the UK. That's the equivalent of the 2017 terrorist attacks multiplied 166 times. Or to put it another way, the same as a major terrorist incident once every 2 days. It's estimated 1 in 4 people in the UK suffer from a mental health issue every year. And with the statistics as they are, it's hard not to see why the mental health services are under constant increasing strain. The waiting time to receive talking therapies is 2 to 3 months, sometimes longer, and only 1 in 8 people with mental health issues are receiving treatment. It is against this backdrop that Simon Wetherby gets into the system and begins treating patients.
Cuts or no cuts, money or no money, this should not have happened. That's the first thing that needs to be clear.
I mean, my team are under consistent pressure all of the time.
I do believe that because the service, especially the mental health service, is under a lot of pressure at the minute, everyone is seeking support and we are trying to find it where we can, which is one of the only explanations I can find for someone like Simon Wetherby to be able to practice for 10 years without having been discovered.
Yes, there is pressure there for myself and within my team, but I feel like that's a bigger question. I don't feel like I can answer that. unfortunately, there is pressure, but I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
A situation like this could be resolved by giving the mental health service more money in the future.
Have I considered my position?
Your position at the hospital?
Why? Why would I consider my position at the hospital?
Just why?
No. Of course I haven't considered my position. As I've said, I work extremely hard, my team works hard, and we follow protocol. So, no, I haven't.
If a person like Wetherby has managed to trick the system, he was probably able to trick vulnerable people that did put their trust in someone like him. I do not know him personally, I don't know what his qualities are. Maybe he's a very sympathetic person, you don't know. And he might have tricked those people and have them believe that he was actually helping them when he was not.
You can't help everybody. Not even fully qualified people have 100% success rates. So I think it's a bit unfair to label Simon as this monster.
In a mental health service, we are dealing with extremely vulnerable people. Depression, anxiety. It can be what we call mild to moderate symptoms, which are usually low mood, for instance. But even then, those symptoms can lead to more extreme ones. A condition can evolve over time. And in case of more complex conditions, such as a bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, suicidal tendencies, we need people who are professionally trained, who have spent the past 5, 6, 8, 10 years in study to actually know what they're doing in assessing conditions of mental health with very vulnerable people.
I blame myself for not spending the time with her that I could have spent.
In addition to asking who is responsible, another perhaps more important question emerges. Is this an isolated case? Or are there more Simon Wetherbys out there?
No, I hope not, sincerely. No, apologies for that, I shouldn't have laughed. No, I don't think so. Look at the backlash that's happened with Wetherby. Because, is that because he's a singularity? Is that because of the circumstances of Emily's death? We can't be sure on that. But I think if you look at the media outrage on just one man, can you imagine the level if we sort of opened the field up to more unqualified professionals, if you will? No, I don't think that's something that will happen. I don't think that's something that has been happening, and not to my knowledge anyway. I've not heard of any other sort of similar undue cases, and I'd prefer to keep it that way.
If it has happened once, I think it can happen twice, yes. And I'm afraid this is possible.
Again, we're taking all the procedures that we can, in the sense that we're training, ensuring that we're aware of this going forward. So, maybe take the necessary requirements to ensure that we are fully aware of who's qualified, what they've been qualified in, and again, just ensuring that this doesn't happen. The only thing we can ensure is that we are professional within everything that we do going forward. We keep a closer eye and ensure that everyone trained is aware, so that this can't happen again.
This is destroying my family. I haven't spoken to my daughter for weeks. She's so angry. Her dad, her father, was everything to her. He was her inspiration, the reason that she's taking psychology at university, because she wanted to be just like him.
For me, obviously I don't want to see him or speak to him. I can't get my head around it, so I'm just kind of distancing myself from him, and I don't live at home either, so I don't really have the bond that perhaps James has, because he's at home and he's with Mum and I'm not. I don't really speak to my mum anyway, it's just, if anything for me, it's made me feel more isolated and on my own than anything else.
Within days of starting this investigation, I received dozens of messages, all from former patients of Wetherby, all vouching for him. Now, I was interested in meeting some of these people who claimed he had helped them, but first I wanted to talk to Wetherby's family, to see what they thought of the techniques that he used, and why so many people wanted to defend him.
He's a natural. He listens to people. He makes them feel at ease. I just still can't believe that it's true.
I just believed him. I didn't really have any reason not to. I'd seen him be like that with me. So he'd helped me. He'd helped plenty of the family, his friends. We all thought that this was, oh, of course you took the night classes and went to study because this is something you care about, and that's all that we saw.
I think really the only way you can look at it is maybe cognitive dissonance, where, you know, he knows he's not doing the right thing, but him in his mind is finding a way to make it right, if that makes sense. And that's the only thing I can think of, even though it's not right.
Yes, he didn't have the qualifications on paper, but who makes up those qualifications anyway? It's only the government. I mean, years ago, before there was all of this, there were people that did what Simon did without qualifications.
And that's what Simon told me to do, and it's great, because that way I don't spend hours thinking about how I look.
I think he should be on television.
Because it was taking my money, but those therapists that I saw before him